Europe is a continent of different nations with different history, different language, different civilization, different geography. And the question for them always, it's a historical question. How do we work together? And how we provide peace and prosperity for our nations? And after the Second World War, the idea behind the European Union, the European integration itself, was exactly this. Like, let's create a platform on which we can work together and provide peace and economic prosperity for our nations.
Would you agree that the European Union started with good intentions, but there's systemic flaws?
Yeah, I would agree with you. So, and it still has some very good elements, like we are a small country with a small market, but the Hungarian economy is doing great and we can sell our products in other European markets. So it's a value. Before the collapse of the Soviet Union, it was impossible for the Hungarians to travel abroad, even to Vienna, which is the neighboring capital. Now you can travel freely. So there are some positive elements, but my concern and our concern is that if we turn the European Union into a political project, a liberal, progressive, transnational project, then it can cause a mass destruction on these positive achievements as well. So this is why we are saying that we want to change the European Union and save the positive achievements of the European integration. If it remains in the hand of the liberals, then 10, 20, 30 years' time, the question is whether the European Union as such can survive this hijacking from the liberals.
Interesting. And they're trying again to strip the Prime Minister from his voting rights as well. But
of course, they are openly talking about it. You know, if you are not supporting the war and their war coalition, then you don't have the right to vote. And you don't have to say your opinion. It's insane. I mean...
are you worried that it could work, or it's just too much opposition?
No,
it seems very far-fetched.
No. It's... I think it's not going to happen, but...
Slovakia...
Yeah. There are some countries, and we are strong, we have allies, we are ready to defend ourselves, but we never forget that this is their intention. And the Hungarian people are very much upset because of that. So they like the idea of European Union, but they dislike the idea that decisions are made by Brussels and it's dictated what has to be done. So this is why we turn every time to the people. Now there is a national referendum on the EU-Ukraine accession. And we ask the people and we tell them, you know, it's a civilization issue. It's a big strategic decision. It will have consequences. Some of them are saying that it will have positive consequences. We are more concerned. We think that it would have negative consequences. So it's up to you to decide. And I think they will make a decision whether they support Ukraine EU accession or not. And the government will represent that opinion on the European level.
That's how democracy should work.
That's how democracy.
Whether you like the decision or not.
Yes. And this is a behavior which is treated as radical and non-acceptable on the European level.
What are your thoughts on the latest developments? Because Prime Minister Orbán he jokingly said a lot of the things he's been saying for years and he's been kind of doing for years, trying to maintain that balance between Russia and Europe and not alienate Russia completely, trying to end the war early. Essentially what Trump is doing now for the last few months. Now, and the Prime Minister joked how Trump is taking all the credit. But what is your take and the Prime Minister's take on the latest developments in Ukraine? Is that just part of the process? Or are you a bit surprised, especially by what happened 2-3 days ago?
No, we are not surprised because when last year, summertime, my Prime Minister made a peace mission. He went to Kiev, then to Moscow, then to Beijing. And then he wrote a report and he wrote down that the problem is that both sides are convinced that they have to keep fighting. So they don't want to stop fighting. So for this, we need neutral outside mediators who are not part of the conflict, but trying to convince both parties to make an agreement. And he was saying that the United States will vote for Trump, and Trump will try to be this neutral outside mediator. So he was trying to warn the European Union to act before it happens, but they rejected it, and it exactly happened what was told by the Prime Minister. And I think President Trump, what he is trying to do now is exactly this, and it's not going to be easy. Like, peace cannot come from one day. So first, like what he did, restored communication channels and organized high-level discussions between Ukrainians and Russians. It didn't happen in the last 3 years. Without communication, it's impossible to achieve something. There was a big prisoners exchange. So there are some tiny little steps. And what we're doing in Hungary is we're trying to support the Americans and trying to convince the Europeans not go against the Americans. Because what the Europeans are doing now is that they want to they are going against the European plans. They are supporting the Ukrainian plan to continue the fight. They are not supporting the American plan to stop the fight. And I think it's a very complicated diplomatic effort. And if somebody is capable of doing it, then it's